Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into the North Main Minute. I'm Josh Wood-Dobie. A question that we receive with some regularity here at North Main Financial Group, for all the obvious reasons, has to do with where we see the housing market, and specifically residential housing market right now in this current environment. Now, I need to provide a caveat real quick. We're not realtors, mortgage bankers, so we're certainly not experts in that end of the field, but we watch the housing market very closely, primarily because of how much a part of our overall economy that it is. And then when we're looking at markers, say like CPI, the Consumer Price Index, residential housing is as much as 40% of that kind of calculation. And so it has a huge impact on our understanding about where things are. So we watch it very closely. So to come back to the question, where do we see residential housing right now? It's cooling off. Not crashing. This isn't 2008, 2009. It's not the kind of thing where we see a lack of capitalization in the market or spaces where we have a large collection of poor performing mortgage notes or folks who have mortgages that they can't afford. There are always that collection, by the way. We don't always hear about it. There are always a number of folks who are in those kinds of spaces, but it is not a significant portion of the overall market right now where we have concern about it. But there is a cooling off, and that comes very naturally from a significant increase in mortgage rates, which we have seen here over the last year. I mean, we've literally doubled in most instances, especially if you're looking at the 30-year fixed mortgage on average. It has literally doubled here over the last year. So we're seeing that effect, a higher cost of capital, if you will, a higher cost for mortgages, having a cooling effect on the market. Houses are starting to stay on the market a little bit longer. We're not seeing the same kinds of craziness that we saw a year or so ago where folks are bidding dramatically over asking price, waiving inspections, all of those kinds of things. We're not seeing much of that anymore. And then what we watch, one of the things that we watch on our end of the universe is with the large builders that are out there, especially the publicly traded ones, where we can watch them very closely. What are they doing in terms of applying for new building permits over the course of the next year? Because that's a very good indicator for us about how those very large builders feel about the prospects of being able to sell over the course of the next year. Probably intuitive in terms of what I'm saying there, but just to say it explicitly, what their expectations are, and we're seeing those applications for new housing permits come down pretty dramatically. Now, on the other side of things, relative to the number of folks who want to buy, we still have pretty tight inventories. So we're not seeing this huge drop in pricing across the country. We are in some instances, but it's also being buoyed by the fact that there still is a pretty significant amount of demand, even with, again, with a higher interest rate for mortgages, because the supply relative to demand tends to be pretty tight right now. So we're watching those things pretty closely. We anticipate that the housing market is going to continue to cool down modestly. It's going to be different in different markets, though. There are going to be some markets that are very resilient, maybe even go up a little bit. There could be other markets that pull back, but we don't see anything systemically that would indicate that we're going to move radically in either direction. But it certainly is something that we watch closely. If you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group, perhaps talk about real estate overall, be it commercial, be it residential, or just the overall economy and how specifically it applies to your portfolio, we'd love to hear from you. NorthMainFinancial.com.